Welcome to another episode of Rapid Reviews Radio, episode 15. I am your co-host, Kylie Wild, and I'm joined by Pete Beckett.
Hello.
And we're recording late tonight, so
We are.
I'm a little disoriented, but how has your week been?
Yeah, it's been good. Had a good weekend away of just spending some time with the partner just because it's her birthday, so
Yeah.
just decided to get away for the weekend, which was quite nice.
Nice.
But I am actually quite surprised that we've hit more episodes than Final Fantasy games.
Oh my
Well, in the numbered series anyway.
I was gonna say, but yeah, that is very true. I was trying to think of a witty comeback, and I have nothing in the tank.
No surprises there. There's nothing to be said about that. But how are you doing?
Not too bad. All systems go for my Belfast convention.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's really shaping up. And for those who don't know, I am throwing a convention, I guess, hosting one called Fanfare Belfast, and which Pete will be running the Smash Brothers tournament. So
Yes.
yeah.
So if it's a disastrous mess, I apologise. It won't be.
No, it won't be at all. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be absolutely fabulous. But
Of course it will be. I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, over the weekend I booked my flight and hotel over to there, so you know full well that I'm definitely coming.
Yep, which is good.
Guarantee at least one attendance.
Yeah, exactly. and then if no one shows up, it'll just be me and you in the tournament. So.
Yeah, that would be cool. We'll just start our own convention with blackjack and hookers. In fact, forget about the convention.
Absolutely. So yeah, I am full of energy, like ridiculous. So
but I think we'll go over that in another episode anyway. In the future, we might talk conventions properly.
Yeah, as it gets closer and things like that. But yeah. So we should probably. I will say that Pete did do a guest spot on the Caffeinated Banter cast.
Yep, I did. So let me just say that to the most normal viewers or listeners on here, it might not be a very typical one because it's very not safe for work. So just be aware that there might be a few more swears than normal.
I had a little listen myself this week, and yeah, it would be definitely an SFW if other ears are listening, if that makes sense.
For sure, but it was a lot of fun, and I have to say thank you to the Caffeinated Banter cast for allowing me to derail their entire project.
It sounded like a lot of fun. Absolutely.
It was good fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, some good info over there, good banter.
Well, should be really because it's called a banter cast.
Exactly. So if you guys are out and about wanting to listen to, more, you need more Pete content.
Not sure why anyone would want to, but please go and support them. If it's not just for me.
Yep, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
So
we'll crack into some news, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely. Straight into the news.
Okay, so we've got a couple of rumor stories and a potential leak story. So I'll go with the rumor mill first, but one of these has been deconfirmed since writing this document up.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed because I was really excited about this.
I know you are.
Yeah, this was tweeted out by EB Games of Canada, which is basically GameStop Canada.
Yes.
Let's just say. Street Fighter V Champion Edition for Switch.
Yes.
Unfortunately now deconfirmed by EB Games of Canada and also Yoshinori Ono of Street Fighter. Of Capcom, sorry. Yeah, they basically, apparently what was said about this was there was a marketing person who was writing this tweet up and accidentally put Switch when they meant to put PS4.
Yes, that is the excuse that they've mentioned.
Yeah, I would say excuse.
Yes, I would as well. But I do have to admit, like, I saw that come across on, I believe I was on Twitter.
Yeah.
And my first thought was of you, because it's all the Street
Of course
Fighter,
it was.
so.
Yeah, we were talking off air quickly, and that was the first thing you mentioned. Was like, "Oh, you put this in the news?" Oh, wait, yeah, you put it in the document.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, yeah. So how what are your thoughts on that? I am curious.
I'm a bit disappointed, but it's not a surprise, mainly because Sony did actually fund a lot of the development with Street Fighter 5, meaning it had console exclusivity.
Right.
And if I'm perfectly honest with you, the new console's around the corner. I think we might have a new Street Fighter coming anyway.
That seems to be a very strong rumor.
Yeah, I've heard the Street Fighter 6 rumor since Capcom Cup last year, which was in December of 2019.
Right.
So it's not really a surprise. I think what would be a surprise is if it stayed exclusive to consoles on PS5.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think they're probably going to go back to being Xbox and PS5 this time around because, well, Street Fighter 4 was on both consoles. I mean, it's, I think Capcom are a little bit of a better position nowadays to actually put it out in multiple consoles. Just look at Resident Evil. It's they've had that on Xbox and PS4 this time around. Resident Evil 3 is getting the same treatment as well. Monster Hunter World has also come to Xbox as well as PS4. So it just seems at the time Capcom weren't in a very good place, that they needed help with the development side of it.
Yeah.
And it's clearly paid dividends because it's worked.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. But we always forget about the dark money pit that is Street Fighter. And Street Fighter 5 particularly.
Yes. It's a wonderful DLC and what is it? Fighters Pass? What is it?
Yeah, so they're now up to 4 Fighters Passes. 6 characters at £25 a pop.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, £100 on the fighters alone.
No, thank you.
Yeah, that's not including stages, costumes, all that sort of nonsense.
Oh gosh.
Which is why Champion Edition is looking like the better prospect for 25 quid.
Right. Absolutely. Oh gosh.
But we do have another rumor that has not been deconfirmed and has not been confirmed either.
Right.
Which I quite like. So we're going to talk Star Wars here.
Yeah, which is always good.
Yep. So we all know that Respawn Entertainment put out what was probably the best Star Wars based game since EA have held the license. But the rumor that came out a couple of days ago over the weekend was that apparently Respawn are going to be working on a remake to Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Please do it.
I hope they do. Now, I've heard the opposite, but I'm a positive believer.
I'm going to take this with a grain of salt, but I'm going to let you explain why you're a bit more positive about this.
Mostly I'm positive about it because I want it to happen.
Okay.
I also think that honestly, with the success of the Resident Evil remake,
yep,
I think a lot of companies are looking at that model, that marketing model, and going, oh, we can make money on our old stuff, kind of like what the cinema land is doing.
What with the cinematic universes and all that sort
exactly.
of thing.
They're just retreading everything. So it makes sense, like from a marketing point of view, that to put out. I mean, Knights of the Old Republic and 1 and 2 are very highly esteemed games. They're very successful games. Also enjoyable.
Yep.
But so they wouldn't lose anything by.
I don't think they would.
Nope. But even though I've said that, and yes, I optimistically hope it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's been said a few times that that's not going to happen. It's very low on the list of priorities. It's usually
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
I want it to.
Oh, of course I do, but it holds such, like, the game itself holds such a regard.
Yeah.
That if this remake was to be true, it might disappoint a lot of people, and I think they're worried about that.
I think that's always a risk. I think Final Fantasy VII is risking that.
Huge. That's a huge risk.
And I think even Resident Evil, to an extent, risked that.
I'm going to disagree with you there, because I think since Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, and even to a certain extent Code Veronica came out, games have advanced quite a lot since those early 3D iterations. And tank controls were obviously it was particularly known for at that time, which, I mean, it's great back then because we didn't know any better, but now it's quite hard to go back and play
it is
again.
It very much is.
I think Resident Evil 2 was absolutely primed for a remake, with the 4, 5, and 6 and 7 kind of perspective and graphical style and engine.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I mean, they kind of set precedent, really, when they did the remake on the GameCube all those years ago anyway.
Yes.
There you go. So
that's very true.
Capcom are very known, once again, for doing remakes.
They are. They like to, what is it? Get money from a turnip? God, I'm really bad at idioms.
I don't know, but they do like to mine that gold mine as much.
There you go. That makes way more sense.
Yeah. Like, they drill for oil until they can't find no more.
Yeah, exactly. They run the well dry. God, I'm really bad at this.
Well, I was going to say it kind of sounds like America in the Middle East, but let's not say any more than that.
Oh, yes. While I'm hunkered down in my bunker.
I'm not saying anything more because Trump might come after me.
Oh, God. Would not be surprised.
I wonder what kind of random nickname he'd come up for me. Like kind of like how he was talking about Nancy Pelosi and all that.
Yeah, let's see.
Like Creepy Joe Biden.
Yeah, well, I was going to say he usually likes to alliterate, but no, you're right. He does say Creepy Joe Biden. So I was going to say Petulant Pete.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yep.
Okay. But anyway, we'll move back onto Knights of the Old Republic. Because we had to talk about a Sith Lord in some way, didn't we?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. I love the Siths. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd gladly go dark side anytime.
Absolutely. They have the most passion, and they deal in absolutes, which is what I like and am comfortable with.
I do like being good, but being good is boring sometimes.
It is. It's very boring. And
yeah, exactly.
You can have honor and be evil, because evil is just a perspective.
Exactly. You might not consider yourself evil, but everyone else does.
Yes. I can say that is very true in my life. So.
But I am pretty sure that Darth Vader was very evil.
Yeah.
Until the very end.
Oh, gosh. I have to say, I know we're going off on a tangent, but I don't care.
Still relevant. We're all still talking Star Wars here.
Yeah. Exactly. When I was a kid and I saw Empire Strikes Back and the reveal and that ending scene, I was just like, I love Darth Vader so much. I was like 5 and I loved him and cheered for him because I'm a dork. Yeah, I was like, he had a good heart the whole time. He was just really wounded.
Yeah, of course he was.
Yeah. And
then George Lucas kind of ruined that with episode 3. Episode 1, 2, and 3, let's just say. And then Disney ruined Star Wars even further.
Yes. I will say this. if you're a Star Wars fan, and who isn't,
let me just say I'm not anymore.
Well, when I say that I'm a Star Wars fan, I strictly mean the original 3.
Okay, yeah,
And,
I'm still a fan then.
Yeah, and some of the expanded literary universe.
Which now no longer exists because Disney pretty much destroyed that and said that it didn't exist.
But I know exactly. It's like, oh, thanks. That were my childhood and teenage years. But if you actually read the novelization of Part 3, Revenge of the Sith, it's actually really good.
Oh, of course it is. I've read it as well. It's brilliant.
Yeah, you get a lot more insight. It's not rushed. It makes more sense. There's a lot more logic to it. And you don't have that terrible no part at the end. God.
I might find the sound clip and just put that in after that you just said that.
Yes.
No.
Because I literally have had a fondness for Darth Vader since I was 5 years old.
Yep.
And then seeing him clunk out of that and just be so over the top, it was like, that's not my Darth Vader.
Alright, you sound like someone on Twitter now.
I was going to say, hashtag not my Vader.
Mind you, they did kind of redeem that with Rogue One, where he is actually in one scene in that, and he absolutely mauls everyone, and it is it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
that was one of the only good parts about Rogue One.
Well, I was gonna say there are a lot oh my gosh, I kid you not, this was in between. Yeah, it would be after the 3 prequels. But before Disney got its hands on it, so I don't know how long ago it was, 5 or 6 years ago. But it was the animated one that was in theaters.
Oh, Clone Wars.
Yeah, Clone Wars.
Yep.
I walked out.
That was trash. That's why.
Do you know the part I walked? Did you see it? Have you seen it?
I have seen a little bit of it and gave up.
Yeah, there's a part, and this is not spoilers because it's a piece of crap, and I'm not ruining anything for anyone. There is a literal part where Jabba the Hutt is talking to, I want to say it's his uncle or his aunt.
What?
Yes.
What?
It must be his aunt, and she's crying.
What?
Because the Huttling has been, I think, kidnapped.
Oh my god.
I walked out.
No surprises there.
It's the exact minute I stood up and said, I don't walk out of movies, but that was like, what has happened? What has happened? Jabba is not, he's a creature of sloth and merriment, and he's a slug. He's a giant slug. He doesn't need dimension. Please stop putting dimension on people that don't need it, or on characters. And
he's not dimensional. He's just an amorphous blob.
Yes, exactly. And then to give all of the Hutts a race.
Oh god, the fact that you call them the Hutts.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, I can't do this. As soon as the word Huttling came out of, I want to say it was his aunt's mouth, I was like, I'm done. I can't do this.
Right.
I can't do this.
It's like, this reminds me of that scene in like one of the cutaway gags in Family Guy where Peter's watching a film in cinema, and he literally just holds his hands up and goes, "I'm done," and just walks off.
Yeah. That was yep. I'd hit my limit. That it's like, yep, nope, done. I'm out.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Okay, we'll go back. So I think we've spoken enough about Star Wars.
Yes.
Probably not the thing that we were supposed to be talking about,
No.
I think we're pretty excited if that's actually real.
If it's real, I am over the moon. I would love to see that.
Me too.
Remade.
I would.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to see it remade. I would like to see them do something with that Star Wars license that isn't a terrible mess, to be honest. I know Fallen Order is apparently really good. I've got it to play, but I've just had no inclination to want to play it yet.
It's good.
Okay, I'm still burnt by Rise of the Skywalker, if I'm honest. Oh, The Rise of Skywalker. Sorry, I keep getting the name wrong.
Right.
Yeah, I'm still burned by that, so I'm just like,
I get that.
if it,
I do.
yeah,
I do.
and no, I am not part of the fandom menace. Let's just say that. I'm just a fan of films.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing, is, again, everything we say is an opinion. It's our own opinion.
Yep.
We'll get into that actually here in just a little bit.
Of course.
So this actually all does go together. It has a cogent theme. Just got to stick with it.
Yeah.
But that's, the thing is, if we're honest, A New Hope is not a great movie. It's not a great film.
It's not the best. It's not shot that well.
No, it has terrible wipes.
It's got some. I mean, that's more of an old school sort of mentality of filmmaking.
Yeah.
And it was sort of in theme of what he was going for, George Lucas, at the time. But
yeah,
let's be honest here. George Lucas is a poor writer.
He's terrible. He's terrible at everything. Except producing.
Yeah, but it took Lawrence Kasdan to basically make the best in the series.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100 times over. I have to agree with that. And so in some ways, what we're seeing through Disney and then through George himself, from, before the prequels, it is, I hate to say this, but really it's the natural evolution that it was going to do, because there was never a story laid out. There was never, it was a conglomeration of old Japanese films, which I love.
Yeah.
But
yeah, me too.
Some of the best stuff is lifted directly from those, and so it was never a great film when we're talking about cinema as an art medium.
No, but it's just so damn iconic. That's why it is
iconic, and the honest truth is, there's a lot of heart in it.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, and I'm a sucker for that every time.
Yep.
And I have to say, with the new ones, again, just my opinion, I don't feel the heart that... No,
neither do I, and that's what... I feel like the only one that actually gives it anything, really, and you can clearly see like how beaten down he's been by this entire series, is John Boyega.
Oh, yeah.
I feel sorry for that man, because did you see his reaction to seeing the first trailer for The Force Awakens?
Yeah.
Man, that guy was he was like, oh my god, I'm in a Star Wars movie. I can't believe this. This is amazing. Like, even though he's filmed it, he knows exactly what's going on. And just seeing his pure joy at being in a Star Wars movie is like, it's really touching. But then by the end, and you've seen the Twitter storm that happened after the Rise of Skywalker came out. My goodness, he went full savage on New Year's Eve. That was hilarious.
He did. Again, stick around, guys. All of this is going to make sense.
Okay, yeah.
So we should probably move on, because
we will move on quickly to this next news story. So we're now moving on to leaks, like a leaky sieve.
Yes.
Too many Xbox Series X stuff has been coming out over the last few weeks.
Yep.
To the point now, we have prototype images.
Yes, that's right.
So we now get our look at the back of the console.
Yes.
Which is what a lot of people wanted to actually see. So we now see that there's the, how many USB ports we've got, the lack of a second HDMI input like was on the Xbox One, and apparently a diagnostic port on there.
Yeah, that honestly, from the beginning of the whole everything, the back of the box is what I've been interested in.
Me too.
Because I need to see how it's going to fit in my setup, what I need to do to it. I need to future-proof, type things.
Of course, and you want to see how many USB inputs you've got at the back and how many you'll have at the front.
Because my LEDs on my TV are actually secretly plugged into my Xbox. You can't see it, but and so I use those little bit of extra ports you know, sometimes I'll plug a fan into it because
Yeah, of
it's
course.
right here next to me. I don't know. I just like ports, just, you know, and then not having the second HDMI, oof, that makes me a bit nervous. I mean, because I know not everyone has the same setup as I do, but I have lots of things.
Yeah, of course.
I have several consoles, and it's always fighting for space. And I know you can buy an HDMI hub, but they take a lot of power, and they actually, the ones I've had, they tend to break a lot.
Oh, I've had one that's broken. Like it was a 3-port splitter, and it wasn't it didn't have its own power source, so it used to break all the time, and it was such a pain, really.
Yeah, and so I don't know. It's just a preference thing for me, and because I'm a boring nerd, I'm holding back my opinion till it's, you know, the final proof.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but because we'll just have to see how it goes, and I hope they put a few more ports in of varying kinds. Yeah.
To be honest with you, from what I've heard about this, it isn't going to support USB Type-C, which I'm disappointed about.
I heard the same, and am also disappointed.
Yeah, I thought we were starting to go towards USB Type-C as being the standard across everything, and I was really excited by that.
Well, see, that's the thing. It really does appear in every other sector that's where we're headed.
Yeah, I mean, even the Switch uses it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Nintendo usually outdated with this kind of thing.
I mean, but that's the honest truth. And so we're sitting here. Yeah, Sony has an opportunity, just like they did with the Xbone, when, you know, the Xbone released and everyone.
You mean Microsoft by any chance?
No,
you said Sony and Xbone, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I'm gonna come back around to it.
Okay, all right.
Xbone was released and was always on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So Sony got that, you know, got to see that, and then, you know, went and worked on their own stuff and said, "Hey, we don't have to be always on." You know,
which
PS4
is
doesn't.
that infamous 10-second video of them sharing games, of course.
Yes. So it's kind of a repeat of that. Is really what I'm trying to say, is that Xbox, you know, if these images are accurate, and they do seem to be, Sony has the chance again to come in and swoop in and say, oh, well, you know, we've got USB-C and a second HDMI port.
Yeah. Now, for me, the second HDMI port is not that major of a deal. If you remember what it was for on the Xbox One, it was to plug your set-top boxes in and have the TV running through there. So I'm not fussed by that.
Right, okay.
Apparently it was super laggy doing it through that anyway.
Yeah. I mean, there is a lag. Know. Yeah.
But other than that, I think the box is still looks all right. I mean, it looks like a PC tower, but yeah.
We said this on our previous show about the
consoles.
Yeah, the consoles.
Yeah.
I do wish they'd been a little bit more creative.
Yeah, I do agree.
I'll just stick LEDs all over mine. So
yeah, that'll personalize it for sure. That'll make it look unique.
Yes, I'll make it look like an alien. I'll make it look like an alien artifact from Subnautica.
Or it'll be basically like an Alienware computer.
Oh my gosh, yes, good old Alienware.
Yeah, there we go. But I did have a question for you about this.
Absolutely.
Now, do you reckon? And the reason why I asked this is mainly because the serial number is actually on the Xbox. So whoever's leaked these images are going to get found out very quickly.
Yes, they are.
Do you think that this was just a random leaker, or do you think that Microsoft leaked this themselves?
See, that's the thing with leaks.
Yeah, I hate conspiracy theories, by the way, but we're going to get into conspiracy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think that Microsoft is entirely capable of purposely leaking things.
I do agree.
Yeah.
I think they may have done this on purpose.
I would not be surprised.
Can I back this up with a point that I thought of just a minute ago?
Absolutely.
Did you remember that there was a tweet that went out probably about a month ago from Phil Spencer saying how he's taken the Xbox Series X home?
Yes.
Do you reckon it was him that took the photos, post them to someone,
oh my gosh,
to then leak out?
Oh, that is so, that's a perfectly logical track.
Yeah.
Yeah, because see, here's what I was thinking, and that kind of goes along with that, is Microsoft got their best feedback after they released their preliminary info specs about the Xbone.
Yes, they did. I remember that launch event was an utter disaster.
Yes, it was absolutely a disaster. So, what is a less expensive but full-on feedback way,
the internet.
Get that, exactly. So, I think
perfect marketing.
Exactly. It's cheap as free. And
yeah, exactly.
exactly. And they get the real-time feedback that other people pay, thousands for. And I think you hit the nail on the head, of course. Because he did. I mean, I think that would probably be stupid of him to tweet that he was taking it home and then, boom, pictures appear. But I think it was absolutely. I could see that.
I mean, you haven't heard about anyone getting potentially fired for this leak.
Right. Absolutely. And no one being a whistleblower and going, I leaked the images. Because if you hang out on Reddit at all, not just Reddit, but that's my main one. 4chan probably too. If you hang out on any
4chan, 8chan, God, what are the other ones? There's a few
so many.
Oh, NeoGAF and all that.
Yeah. Someone always comes forward.
Of course they do.
I mean, sometimes they're doxxed, but not always. Sometimes they're just like, I did it. It was me.
Yeah.
And they're quite proud of it. And
of course they are.
There's been nothing from what I've seen. There's been nothing at all.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't like conspiracy theories, but this is making my noggin jogging,
Yeah, exactly. I'm fully on board. I could totally see it.
Yeah, I did actually hear someone speculate about that on another podcast I listened to, and I thought it made complete sense.
Yeah, well,
that's why I thought I'd bring it up to you.
Absolutely, because if you look at it, as I do, from a marketing perspective, because that's how I view all of everything, like I said, it's free. It's free real-time feedback. It's, I couldn't pass up that opportunity. Absolutely not.
Exactly. I think it's a good way of marketing it. Actually,
it is. Yeah.
I think I'm definitely on board with that principle in which he said it's free. You get all the feedback that you need from the angry fanboys on the internet. And the anti fanboys as well.
Yes.
Them haters.
Yes.
The ones who still believe that a console war actually exists.
Oh gosh. Again,
I'm not
stick
going
around,
into that.
folks.
I'm not going into that. We will later. Okay, we'll move swiftly on to this next news story because I think we need a bit of a pep up for it.
Yes.
Before we get into our main topic. And this story had me in utter stitches all weekend long. It was so funny, honestly. I don't know why this was even a thing.
Oh gosh, it's so good.
So I'll read basically how I wrote this down. Man arrested in Portland Airport in the US of A for unplugging a monitor displaying a map of the airport to play Apex Legends on his PS4.
That man is an absolute legend.
What a mad lad.
I can't blame. I know. I'm a U.S. citizen. I know airports are high security areas.
Yeah, I mean, bearing in mind that any airport around the world is basically its own sovereign country with its own laws.
That's very true. And so, yes, it's a very dangerous and stupid thing to do, but also...
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, but also, I can't blame him.
Look, you're sitting in an airport for 4 hours. What else are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Look, if you're a Sony fanboy, then you might pull out your Vita, but nobody wants to play the Vita anymore. So if you're taking your PS4 somewhere, then what are you going to do?
Exactly.
You're going to unplug something and play that.
Yeah, I mean, like, those monitors, they all show the same thing, just at a different, time. And because I've been stuck staring at stupid airport monitors for hours on end.
Me too.
No one was using it, so...
Yeah.
I can't blame him, but...
No, I can't either, but yeah, I can understand why he got arrested.
Yeah.
It is a little bit over the top for arresting him, though.
It is, and if I remember correctly, what they were going to charge him with was a felony. So,
of course they were.
Yeah.
No, I think mainly what he got arrested for was the utter cheek of the situation, because I was reading into the story, and this is what made me laugh the most, was that when someone came over and told him to unplug it, he asked if he could finish his game first.
I would have done the same thing.
I think we all would have done. Any gamer would have done the same thing.
Yes. Just gotta get this one part done. Just give me 5 more minutes.
So I can't say that I picked up the name of this person who did this.
I forgot.
But my goodness, what? You're a mad lad. You're an utter mad lad, and you deserve my respect.
Absolutely. I mean,
you got charged a felony for being a gamer. Good lad.
It's like, yes, I can sit here and acknowledge, yes, what you did was very stupid. But I understand.
We've all wanted to do it.
I get it.
Yeah.
I so get it. Especially in an airport.
Of course. So yeah, this is a lesson to any kid out there who takes his PS4 or his Xbox One or the new generation of consoles anywhere. Please don't unplug any monitors in an airport.
See, that's it
ain't worth the time.
No. But you know what that did actually make me think of? Back when. We're talking PS1 days, I think.
I know exactly what you're going to say, I think, but go on.
The little weird console with the TV built into it.
That is actually an attachment for the PS1.
Is it really?
Yeah, it was an attachment so that you could take it in the car and play it.
Yeah, because that's when like TVs and everything were really big in cars.
Yep.
Like everyone had freaking DVD players and everything. It's weird. It's a weird time.
That's how I did it.
That's exactly how I did it.
Yeah, that's how I did it. There was actually a way of uprooting through a portable DVD player and use that as a screen for your console. It was great.
Absolutely. I remember doing that for a hotel, like in a hotel room. Because I couldn't use the TV there. Oh, the TV there was like one of those old CRTs or something. Oh
god, yeah, it was boxed in sort of jobs.
And but yeah, but I'm just now thinking, that seemed kind of futuristic, and now we have the Switch. And since then, as far as I know, there's not been any kind of weird mod
not as far as I'm aware,
for the Xbox or the PS5 or whatever.
PS4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen one, but there's probably more than likely to be one out there.
I was gonna say, but it is funny to think about, that actually existed.
Yeah. I also want to make people aware of the fact that hotel rooms do actually lock off HDMI and AV inputs as well.
Yes, they do.
Because I experienced that in Hampton in Birmingham, and I'm calling them out by name because when I went up there for EGX in 2018, we stayed in a Hampton hotel in the middle of Birmingham. And yes, you'll probably know which one it is.
I've probably stayed there.
You probably have.
Yeah.
So we were staying there. My friend brought his PS4. I bought my Switch with my dock, and neither one of us could use them on the TV, which absolutely sucked.
It does.
And when we went down to the reception to go and query it, they said it's because of security reasons.
Yeah. No.
And I'm going to say that you're full of crap.
Yep. Because.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, because was it the Hampton Inn? Somewhere I was at within the last few years. I haven't left Belfast in 2 years, so sometime before then. Have I? Anyway, you could actually rent a console.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and they came up and they hooked it up.
I
did not partake of that because that was stupid to me.
Why would you want to rent a console when you can take your own?
Yeah, and at the time, well, much like now, I have an iPad that goes everywhere with me.
Yeah.
And I can get by on that, and
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've got my Switch. I can get by on that.
Yeah.
Still not the point, though.
No. But yeah, I'm sitting here looking at my Switch. Guys, I've had a brand new Switch and a brand new PSVR for 2 years now. I guess they're not brand new anymore. I haven't touched either one of them except to move them to a new house.
Oh dear. Look, if you're willing to sell your Switch, I'll gladly take it off your hands.
No, I probably should keep it
I
can
know.
review things.
Yeah, might help.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, you're sort of sounding like a bit of an Xbox fan girl, I have to say.
I have just, I went ahead and purchased the Ultimate Game Pass.
Nice.
Yes, and I've actually had it for 3 months.
Good.
And for the first month, I didn't touch it because I was just too busy. It was, around, I had to do Christmas orders and stuff.
Yeah.
But then Christmas is over. Nobody buys anything in January because they're all broke.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of time on my hands.
Yeah, the Xbox Game Pass was perfect for that then.
Yeah, except I've played Fallout 4 and Subnautica.
Now, Subnautica's good. Can't knock that.
I've already played Subnautica.
Oh.
But to be fair, the next game on my list would be GTA 5, which I can't
say.
I can't say what you've been playing.
I've completed that game twice, and I'm now in the process of doing it for a time.
So, I said this last week. I'm going to probably say it a million more times. Microsoft did it. They are the Netflix of gaming, and they did it because they got it because they've got my money, and I'm playing games that I've already played or that I already own because I own Fallout 4.
I own GTA 5.
Yeah, I own GTA 5, the 360 version. And oh wait, no, I think
you've got the Xbox One.
I have the Xbox.
You could have just plugged your disc in.
Oh my gosh! So
that's hilarious.
Props to Microsoft.
Yeah, definitely.
Although I will say this as definitely a strat and a tip for anyone out there. Go to CD Keys.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And also check your games collection to make sure you haven't got a game already. It's already on Game Pass.
Yes.
And also, I'll preface this with one last thing before we move on to You Got This.
Yes.
Hashtag Stadia is dead.
Oh my gosh. I saw someone do hashtag anyone remember Stadia.
That's worrying when it's only been out. It's not even public release.
It's not public release. That's crazy. But I told you. I called it.
You did, actually.
One of our episode 7 or something.
It was early on. I remember it was. But I do
like,
remember you saying it was going to fail.
Yep. And you were like, no, it hasn't come out yet. I'm like, no, my instincts.
No, I wanted to look at the potential.
You did.
Of it,
you were being very optimistic. You wanted that. I do.
I wouldn't say I was being optimistic. I was saying I was being more diplomatic.
Yes, that's a very good way of phrasing that.
Yes. I like to try.
Yes. And,
but now Stadia is dead.
It's sorry guys. Look, Google should, I hate this phrase, but this pertains to them. They should, quote, stay in their lane.
Yeah, they should. Because Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony have pretty much just yeeted them out of the games business.
Yeah. Again, pure personal opinion. The only way another contender will show up and be, worthy, they will have to be something so different. That's how Nintendo survives.
Yep, exactly.
They do not try to copy the Xbox or the PS or PlayStation, because they can't.
They can't compete on raw power alone.
No.
So they have to have a unique design.
Exactly, and the market they market to is different, and
yeah, exactly, and
they've got the handheld market right now.
Well, there you go. I mean, you as a businesswoman would know about USPs and stuff like that. So Nintendo really have that unique selling point.
Yes.
Making games fun, basically. And
it's fun. They're always brightly colored. They're family friendly, and they're known for their portability now. Yeah, mostly.
There you go.
So if there's to ever be another contender on the horizon, they're gonna have to think outside the Xbox. I couldn't help it. It was coming out of my mouth before I could stop it.
Yeah. I know. You just couldn't stop it there. There's nothing really you could do. Oh dear. We'll move on. Move on. But anyway, just one last thing. Ouya 2 2021. That's how you compete.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. Wait till the big boys die down.
Yeah.
We'll
get Ouya 2 and OnLive 2.
That's one thing. When you're creating anything for the general public, it can't be hard to pronounce.
No, when I looked at that, I just went, "Oh my god, what is an Ouya?"
Exactly. I think in a way, it made me think of Ouija, which is French and German for yes. Yeah. Yes. And so it's, Ouija. But then Ouya, it was like, is that supposed to be yes and yet? Like, is it, and I was just like, and then I have problems pronouncing things anyway. And
yeah, me too.
Yeah. And I was like, I hate this word.
Or do you want to know how you compete with Nintendo on the handheld market?
Be Nintendo Lite?
No.
No, but how? I'd like to know.
You go and tap up Nokia again.
Oh god.
Yeah, moving on.
Gosh. Oh my gosh.
To anyone who's not a 2000s person, just go and N-Gage, honestly.
Oh my gosh. I will not lie. I want an N-Gage, but I don't know why.
There are a heap of dog crap.
They're slow. They're clunky. They were never going to work. Phones. No, they were terrible phones.
Terrible games console, terrible phone.
Yeah. There was a time, you young whippersnappers out there, that the iPhone did not exist.
Yeah.
It was about to be released, but
that was literally the smartphone of smartphones back then.
Yeah. And because they tried to load before the iPhone happened. They would load N-Gage is perfect example. A phone that was also a games console that had a was it 1.3 megapixel camera? It was very low, very very low res. That was when the specs for that leaked. That was it was breathtaking. That was
it was crazy.
It was oh my gosh! And then I'm sitting there, broke student going, how will I ever have the money to afford this? It's never going to happen. I'll never be able to get this, but I need this tech in my life. And then, bam! By the end of the year, I think it was September of that year, the iPhone drops.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, N-Gage what?
N-Gage what? I still remember the first iPhone. It had a dual SIM card reader.
Oh my gosh. I remember thinking that it was something I would never own because it was so far out of my echelon.
Yeah.
And then like a manager or someone had got it, and I had a look at it. It was like $700, and yeah, and I just remember going, "This is the future," and I was so happy because that next year I could afford my first iPod Touch.
Oh, hooray!
Oh, I was over the moon. And that was like $230.
Yeah, they were expensive.
They were super expensive. I still have it, and I was organizing stuff and I came across it. It's so strange because it's weirdly...
It's so light, isn't it?
That's what I say. It's weirdly very small and slim, but also clunky. Like, it's very heavy. Yeah. And it's just and it just looks old, but not old enough to be retro.
Yeah.
Just
not quite there yet.
Yeah, exactly. But it is weird to go back and look at old tech and think, this was it. This was like, we were living in the future.
Yeah, that was it. It's like, you know, going from like PDAs to smartphones. It was crazy.
Oh, it was crazy. And I was like, everyone would walk around with their PDAs, and I would be like, oh, I want one so bad. And you could play solitaire on it. Oh my gosh. And then now I'm like, I have an iPad literally attached at the hip. It just never leaves me ever.
Right. And I have my phone that can do all of that all at once, basically. It's just, it's so crazy.
That's exactly my point. It's like, it's amazing. I love living in the future.
So do I, to a certain degree.
Welcome to the world of tomorrow.
Do you have to do that to every person?
Yes.
Yes, you do. That's the greeting I would want if I ever like miraculously went into the future.
Absolutely. Isn't it funny? Okay, we're getting off tangent on Futurama, but isn't it funny though? Like, that's not the world of tomorrow for that guy, you know?
No, it's
and
not.
Yet he has to say that to everyone that wakes up from the thing.
Yeah, surely the saying should be, "Welcome to the world of today."
Yeah, exactly. But yes, okay.
Because even Fry, when he wakes up, it's technically not tomorrow for him. He's living that day right there and then.
Exactly. I mean, not to get meta, or yes, to get very meta. You know, we're not in the world of tomorrow. We'll never be in tomorrow. We only can be in today.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's an interesting segue to our next segment.
You have... On to the You Got This section. So what have you got for us this week?
It is actually a very short one.
Okay.
So this is our You Got This segment. It's about 2 minutes. Never has been.
Never will be.
Never will be. To kind of chill and prepare yourself for the week. And just, think, this is it. This is my moment. So... this week's You Got This is another quote I'm going to do. Those have gotten good feedback. Thank you so much for those out there who do give us feedback. We both appreciate it very much.
We do indeed.
Yeah. So I'm quoting from Jordan Brown, who is a mental health advocate on Twitter.
Okay.
And I believe he's at JPBrown5. If you like to follow mental health advocates and stuff like that. And he quotes, in quotes, "I'm stupid." And then he says, "How often we say terrible things to ourselves. Why? What's the point? If we treated others this way, we'd have no friends. Yet we do this to ourselves, as if we're garbage. Today, it's time to change that." That is something I think that we all suffer with. And the interesting thing is, it didn't hit me until last year. I'm very tough on myself. You have to be. I'm a high achiever, And I'll freely admit I have I guess you would call it demotivational background on my iPad, which is... it's not a positive thing. And a friend of mine saw it. It's got some wordy dirds in it, but it's like, suck it up, Buttercup. We'll put it that way.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, and it's really hard.
One of those old things like man up or something.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. And a friend of mine saw it, and she was very affected by it because, you know, being autistic, I'm a little out of touch with my own emotions. But she was very affected by it. She's like, "Why did you do that?" And I was like, "Well, it's my, reminder, to, I need to toughen up. To
try and be positive, yeah.
Yeah, exactly." And she was like, "Would you ever say that to me?" And it was like someone had punched me in the gut.
Yeah, it's like a light bulb went off in your brain. It's like,
yes.
Would I really?
I was like, "No, I'd never say that to you." And she said, "Why do you say it to yourself?"
Because you're your own worst critic. That's the problem.
Exactly. That's it. That is it in a nutshell. And that's what I'm saying this week. Yes, some of us are very tough on ourselves.
Yeah, we both are.
Yes.
Well, you can guarantee we've had enough conversations off air about how hard we are on our own selves.
Yeah, I would definitely say that we both fit that, we're our own worst critic saying. And this week, there's a phrase that I'm trying to incorporate into my life that is difficult for me, and it's called self-compassion. And it's an interesting thing that my therapist has thrown at me a couple of times. Mm-hmm. You have to give yourself a break. No, people probably like you and I, we're never going to let up completely.
No, of course not.
But sometimes give yourself a break. You're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
You're going to say the wrong thing to the wrong person. I do it constantly. And you're going to just do things wrong. Sometimes I'll send an email and it'll say something like, "Attached, you will find, this vendor agreement," and I haven't attached anything.
See, I'm quite lucky at work that actually the amount of times where I've nearly sent something off and it prompts me is like, this says something should be attached. Are you sure you want to send it?
Oh my gosh, what program are you using?
I think that's business Outlook for you, I guess.
Oh, right, okay.
I don't know, but that saved my bacon more than enough times.
Yes, it would, absolutely. Because then you have to follow up with the very embarrassing, "Oh, it appears that I have forgotten to attach the documents in the previous email," and it's like, wow.
Please accept my sincerest apologies. I am such a moron.
I promise I'm a professional entity.
Well, it's not nearly as bad as Overlord Mike.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Okay, we really can't go into it, listeners, but let it be known.
He made a big mistake. It was...
He made a big but hilarious mistake when he was emailing for codes from a game publisher. And,
so I would say if you want to know more about it, just tweet at Rapid Reviews UK and ask what it is, because I'm sure he'd be willing to share, because he found it funny.
Oh, I genuinely laughed. For ever. It was so good. It was so good. Funny. So yes, tweet at Mike at our Rapid Reviews UK Twitter and get him to send you to post the pics or the screenshots, because it's
good.
Glorious. It's absolutely glorious.
But in that situation, he could have easily just beat himself up and gone, "How can I do that? How can I?" That he actually saw the funny side of it, whereas people like me and you would just be sitting there going, "I can't believe I've just done that. Like, why have I done that? I've ruined everything." And no, you're right. You've got to give yourself a break, even from that sort of thing. There is such a thing as mental exhaustion as well as physical, and that's one of the things that I usually find where I'm most mentally exhausted is where I overexert myself, when I'm overly critical about my own self.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, but that is the best example is Mike had a good laugh over that. And then...
Yeah, to the point where he actually told us twice about it.
I was going to say...
And he just wouldn't let up.
He just shared it with us. And we had a good laugh about it. And didn't think... it. How do I phrase that? Like, we didn't criticize him. Like, there was it was a...
No, we just had a laugh about it.
Yeah, exactly. And that is a really good perspective to take as you approach this week. And while I'm trying to get used to the phrase self-compassion, and there's another phrase that's very used very much that I'm in therapy to learn how to like it, and I don't like it, but there's a phrase called self-care.
Yeah.
Those types of things, they're not my strong points.
They aren't with me either.
No, I'm very hard on myself. It's just the type of world I grew up in, and but now that I've approached my third decade on this world, things are different.
Yeah.
And you can't be hard on yourself for that long without burning out.
Yeah.
So,
it's like with anything, you do it for too long and you're just gonna get yourself too exhausted, and you're not gonna want to keep doing it.
Yeah. So take a moment this week and just be nice to yourself. If you have the voice in your head like I do that, it's just constantly berating you and beating yourself up, ask yourself, would you say that to your friend? Because I sure as heck wouldn't. No way.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
I can't hurt people. So,
no.
I shouldn't hurt myself even,
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So just remember, as you go forth in this week, that you have got this.
Yep. And remember, we're always here to help if you need that.
Yes.
Take it from two very highly critical and highly, self-loathing people like we are. That, anyone can be helped, even yourself.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Everyone deserves a little bit of compassion.
We do. Yep. So, we'll move on to our
Speaking of compassion,
we had mentioned this briefly last week.
Yes.
But we've also made it quite known that this is what we're going to be talking about this week. We're going to be talking about fan bases and how passionate can go from being passionate to toxic.
Yes.
Because that is quite a hot topic at the moment because of I'm not gonna make any bones about this one. The discussion about films like Joker.
Yes.
And toxic masculinity and the whole debacle about Byleth and Smash Brothers is what kind of caused this. This is where it's been on the forefront of my mind for the last few weeks. Now, we've seen this a lot over the years about fan bases being incredibly passionate, very, very devoted to what they like. Mm-hmm. But when do you draw the line? Where do you say passion becomes toxicity, and when does it go too far?
That, for me, is the minute a fan base starts attacking actual human individuals. For me, freedom of expression is extremely important.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's ingrained in you from birth.
I mean, we have a similar sensibility here, like in the Magna Carta, but we just don't exercise it, which is annoying.
Yes. Yes, and then, like, in certain places there'll be individual, like, blasphemy laws and stuff like that. Bylaws, I guess, is what they really are. But having said that, for me, things like Nintendo or Sony or,
Microsoft,
Pentium, whatever, they're conglomerations, they're corporations, they're faceless, they're entities, soulless corporate entities. But, they're, But when you start breaking it down, and then to take it even further, we'll say, God, I've just blanked out on any character names whatsoever. Well, like, we'll take the Star Wars universe since we were talking about it. Darth Vader, or crap, I forgot John Boyega's character's name.
Finn.
He's Finn? No, he's not Finn.
John Boyega's character is Finn, or FN2147.
Oh, right. I was thinking the other dude was Finn for some reason. See, guys, this is how much I'm into that.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac's character is Poe Dameron.
Oh, right, of course. I knew that. But anyway, I'm really bad with things. The point is, if you want to say that character is stupid, I'm like, yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Okay.
I hate that character.
Problem.
Here's some fan art of me as Darth Vader force choking Finn. I'm still like, yeah, okay. But when you say, I hate John Boyega,
that's where it gets foul.
That's where the toxicity starts to
exactly because you're associating that actor with that character, and he's only there actually playing a role.
Yes.
He's just doing his job.
Yep. He's given lines to read. He's
and to deliver them in a certain way as was to be expected by the script and by the director.
Exactly.
And director of photography and all that sort of thing. There's a lot of people who work on a movie or work on a game.
Yeah.
It's not just one person who tells them to do one thing.
Exactly.
But where I draw the line is exactly where you are, is where the personal attacks start happening,
Right.
People started, like I mentioned earlier, people started attacking John Boyega for having an opinion about Star Wars. Now that he's out of contract, he's able to be a bit more honest about his experiences on the three trilogy films that were made by Disney. And he's not overly positive about them.
Right.
Despite being a massive Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
For this. Now, he got attacked quite a lot because his hot take was they're basically terrible.
Yeah.
And he got done dirty by Disney, basically.
Yeah. I share that opinion with him.
I do as well. I've made no bones about it. I absolutely could not stand both The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. I thought they were awful movies, but that is my opinion.
That is your opinion, exactly.
Yes, and the opinions, I'm not going to use the specific word in the term, but opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has one.
Yeah. It's true. And another thing, the things that I don't get, and I'm going to bring Joker into this, is people are getting angry and frothing at the mouth and stuff about fictional characters.
Yeah, there you go. I think there are bigger things in the world to worry about than fictional characters.
Yeah, and I'm here to tell you, when I am into a character, I'm obsessed. I've spoken before about how I love lore, and I will learn everything about that character inside and out, even the completely obscure things. But at the same, so I can get passionate. In fact, let's see, what was I? I posted this on Twitter the other day. I have loved Game of Thrones since before it became a show.
Oh, so you read the novels then?
Yes. And so I already had a love for it. And then as they went into development, I really, really was on board with the Game of Thrones television show. And then I moved to Belfast where they film it. That just happened.
Yeah, of course it did.
Yeah. No, that wasn't connected at all. No. So I would be what you would consider obsessive at that point. You know, I'd be a fangirl. That's what I'm trying to say. An intense, very strong fangirl. I have written fan fiction about it.
I don't want to know about that.
It's not. It's not
Rule 43 one. Or Rule 34. Sorry,
or
at least.
What do they call it? Slash fiction.
I'm not going into that. Gee. No.
Definitely not that. It's actually just me being very much passionate about my two favorite characters, which is Jamie and Brienne. And I have bought the action figures. I have the foam sword of Oathkeeper. My cosplay is Brienne of Tarth. I follow the actor and the actress respectively, and I think but anyway, so I'm 100%. I have an autographed photo from the actor that plays Jamie. I don't want to say his name because I'll pronounce it wrong, but Nick.
Okay.
Yeah, I call him Nick because we're on first name basis.
Of course.
I have an autographed photo from him. I'm not kidding when I say that I am a passionate fan of the actors and the characters.
Of course.
Season 8 happened. And if you're not a fan, I think you've probably heard Season 8 is terrible.
What, you mean the petition that went up to rewrite the whole of the season? That was hideous.
It is a terrible piece of work.
I wouldn't know. I'm not a Game of Thrones fan.
Yeah, I know. But having said that, okay, I'm gonna try and get to my point. In the middle of season 8, something I have been wanting to happen since season 3 happened. Fan service, we'll call it. And it was great. It was probably the only bright moment in a very just terrible storyline that was just going nowhere, and all the characters were acting out of character. They just it's like a terrible dream. So then an episode happened that is literally the most painful thing I've ever seen on television, and it was involving my two favorite characters. And I immediately turned off the television, and I've to this day have never watched past that episode.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. So, and then to be fair, for a good few months after that, I didn't want to have anything to do with Game of Thrones.
Well, that's fair. It burned you.
It did. And but then slowly, I mean, I can't resist. I do love those. I love the story, the actual story from the books, and I love those two characters in particular, and I do love the way they were handled up until season 7.
Yeah.
So I'm very passionate about it, and at no time, as angry as I was, and I was angry, at no time did I ever forget that they were fictional characters.
Yeah.
And that there wasn't, like, I was angry, yes, but I didn't need to go take my anger out on someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I never felt the desire to go, the writers of this are stupid, the showrunners are stupid, the actors are terrible, and blah. Yeah, like, that never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
It literally was, this sucks.
And just keep it to yourself, basically.
And keep it to myself.
You have your opinion about it. I mean, yes, you can voice your opinion, but you can do it in a very constructive way rather than just evolving into just unwarranted anger aimed towards someone who's just doing a job.
Yeah, exactly. Because maybe it's because I know a lot of the crew that worked on it. Because it was filmed here. I wasn't joking about that. I know the devotion that people put in this, all the way down to the set builders or the prop builders. Every person that worked on that film that I know believed in the story and believed in the whole mythos, all of it. They were very passionate about it.
They were fans themselves.
Exactly, and they've only had good things to say about the actual cast. And which makes me happy.
I'm glad about that as well.
Yeah, no, they've all been amazing. Because like early days before Game of Thrones became the hit that it was. The crew, probably for the first 3 seasons, they would the cast, they would just go hang out in like the pubs that I hang out in, which is so weird. And like nobody knew because nobody knew who they were. So it was just like, oh yeah, we're filming a show down the road, and it's like, oh right, yeah, that's cool. And
now they know exactly what it is.
Exactly, yeah. And then soon, by the time they were on the 8th season, they couldn't go out anymore. Yeah, which was sad.
Well, unless your name is Sean Bean.
Yeah.
He was probably the only one who couldn't go out because he was like massively famous even before that show.
He was. That's true. God, that's very true. Yeah, he was not. I don't have any photos of him showing up. But everyone else, it was just... But the point being, I'm about as fangirl as you're gonna get.
Yeah.
And I literally cannot fathom blaming anyone and taking my anger out on anyone. So, I can't understand the point of view of this toxic fan base.
No, I can't either.
One of the most toxic fan bases that I've ever seen, well, actually, there's 2 that are pretty equal, but is Sonic. Holy crap.
Oh my goodness.
Holy crap.
Whoa, yeah, we'll go into that in a bit more, but we'll see how what.
Pokemon.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't... When it comes to... You know what? When it comes to any art form, people make art, and, you know, I do see video games as art, video games and cinema,
Yeah, they are all art in whatever way. They take a lot of time to create this.
Yes, exactly. And they put a lot of heart and a lot of thought, and just, I don't know, they're creating it for you. And that's really the thing that I struggle with, is that, well, okay.
Sometimes there are companies out there who will create things just for numbers.
Right.
But in most occasions, they're creating these as an art piece for consumers to enjoy as a piece of entertainment.
Yeah, and like we've said many times before with regards to Pokemon and Smash, they don't have to
I'm
do
glad you
this
mentioned
for us.
Smash. Oh my god.
They don't have to release these characters for us. They don't have to keep releasing a Pokemon game every 2 years.
Every couple, at least a couple of years. Yeah.
They don't have to do that. And you know, I don't know. I just feel, again, maybe it's just different personality types. I don't feel like they owe me anything. I don't feel like the creators of Game of Thrones owe me anything, even though, yes, not personally, but I have supported the franchise. I have bought the merch, the official licensed merch. You know, I have, you know, talked about it on social media and done all this great stuff, but I still don't feel like they owe that to me.
Exactly. Just because you're a fan doesn't mean you're entitled to an opinion.
Yes.
Doesn't mean that you're entitled to be a scumbag.
Yeah, exactly. I have a shirt that I sell in my shop. I'm trying to...
Shameless plug.
It's shameless plug, but also I have to keep it safe for work, which it just says, it's just simple white type, and it just says, don't be a D word.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I get you.
Yeah, and it's one of my top sellers. It's actually number 2.
Good.
It's just a good, I know. It's just a good philosophy of life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just don't be one.
Yeah.
You know?
I get you. I mean,
I guess it's the golden rule, but just whittled down.
Yeah. Of course. I mean, I'll go into a couple of things that I'm very passionate about, and we all know exactly what they are if you've heard at least 15 of these episodes. Now, you know probably how passionate I am, not only just about Street Fighter, but about Mario.
Yes.
I love both of those series with a passion,
Yes,
to the
you
point
do.
where, you know, I spent a lot of hours doing a lot of research into what is nearly a non-existent story in Street Fighter.
Uh-huh.
But I was well into the lore, the characters. Some of them, yeah, they were a bit rubbish, but they can't all be winners,
I was
can they?
gonna say, takes all kinds.
But yeah, but I've always loved that series. Ever since I
Yes.
first played Street Fighter 2 back, Street Fighter 2 Turbo back on the SNES, and then getting a chance to play it in the arcades and all that. I've been a fan.
Absolutely.
I've dipped off over the years. I haven't kept up with all of them, but I would say I've mainly played a fair few of them. And if I hadn't played them back then, I would play them now. But I have made no bare bones about the fact of my absolute disloathing of Street Fighter 5 and its scummy practices,
Yes.
But have I once gone on to the internet or sent an email to Capcom saying, "You are scumbags, this is the worst thing you've ever done, why are you doing this, rah rah rah"?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. Because that's a scummy move to do, and I don't agree with that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
They are only there doing a job. They are there trying to help the community, and yes, the higher-ups in Capcom want to push a particular model out to try and get as much money as possible.
Right.
I get that, and I can understand why a lot of the people out there were vocally very dissatisfied with it, but that's where the line needs to be drawn.
Exactly.
There is expressing dissatisfaction and making a complaint in a business standpoint,
which is
most companies
thing.
Exactly,
right.
they will take those seriously.
Yes,
they
absolutely.
take feedback very seriously. But when it starts devolving into massive negativity, where you're calling anyone an a-hole, or an F word, or an S-bag, or any number of derogatory terms that you can use for anyone,
right,
that's where they don't consider you to be a genuine critic. They just see you as being just an arse, let's just say.
Absolutely.
And you should, even on the internet, you have the principle of being able to sit behind a keyboard and be anonymous and all of that, and that's a nice thing, so long as you don't abuse that power. Because once you abuse that power, you're going to start getting people like governments wanting to clamp down on censorship of the internet, which in this day and age nowadays is the new public square. And if you're censored on the internet, then you've got no voice, and you're going to hate that a lot more than throwing around a few slurs or a few derogatory terms. Because if you get banned off of Twitter, then what are you, or for any social media or anything like that, what are you going to do with yourself? You're not going to be heard. So therefore, you're going to get even more frustrated.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Do you think, in the grand scheme overview, we're talking any fandom.
Yep.
Do you think it's an age-related thing that the more toxic seem to be younger, or do you think that it's just a personality thing?
It's hard to say, really, because I would like to think that it's the younger generation, but I've seen a lot of the older generation also do it too. I do think that a lot of people are getting riled up nowadays by a lot of people throwing around baseless accusations about a lot of stuff.
Right.
So I'll use the Joker as an example, like the film, where if you like this film, you're nothing but an incel. Is the usual term that's being bandied around at the moment. Or what's the other one? Is like talking about white male privilege and stuff like that, and that's just a hideous way to try and get people to bow down to your mentality and to your opinion. But actually, you should never bow down to anyone's opinion, because you should have your own opinions.
Yeah.
And you should be able to have them in a way that is both, you can disagree, but be civil at the same time. But it seems like nowadays, especially with the anonymity of the internet, it's made it so much easier for people to just throw around hate.
I have to agree.
I don't get it. I really don't. And this is why we wanted to discuss it, is because this toxicity is going to be what brings us down eventually.
Yeah, I mean, it's very divisive and or divisive if you're British, but it is very much like in regards to Joker, another perfect example. I like Joker. I'm a female who likes Joker.
Yeah, that must be you, like dipping into toxic male masculine, like white privilege,
right?
And
well,
all of that sort of thing.
What I actually have been called twice now, I think, is a phrase that I find interesting. Again, I say it every episode, but I can't help it. My brain works differently. I am autistic, so I find things funny that other people wouldn't.
Of course.
And I just don't get. I have a lack of anger for the most part. I have been called a gender traitor.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
Really?
The first time I read that phrase, I giggled. I'm sorry. I don't ever mean to demean anyone and their passions and, what they feel very strongly about. I am who I am, and I like things that I like.
There you go.
I like Joker.
Nobody's going to tell me what to like because I'm just a machine.
I like to hear. Now, one thing I do love, and I always have, I love to hear other people's opinions, especially when they're different from mine. Because
so do I.
Yeah, because I like that perspective that I might not have.
Yeah, exactly. I love the discourse, to be honest.
Yes.
I love the discussion itself.
Absolutely. I found when I was younger, I would be around the adults more than I would my peer group. And it's because at that time, things have changed now, but at that time, you could have a discussion with an adult and you could absolutely not agree on whatever thing you're talking about, but you could talk for hours about it. And it was so rewarding. I loved hearing their point of view, and they always thought that my perspective was very interesting and not one they thought of before. And I miss that because it is exactly what you said. It's a discourse, and was one of my favorite pastimes. And it's, with the exception of you, it's it's very rare that you can find anyone to have that discourse with. It almost does. We've said this off air, but it becomes a very emotional, heated discussion.
Yeah, and I think that's probably where we've hit the nail on the head. There is it's an emotional response to someone potentially, and I hate to use the term triggering you.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I do benefit from the fact that I am less emotional or less connected to my emotions than most people.
I actually think that helps you massively.
I'm starting to think so as well. I didn't realize that I was different from everyone, because you just don't. You only have your perspective. And that doesn't matter if you're neurotypical or diverse. There's so many terms, I forget them.
Far too many terms to try and remember, to be honest.
It is very difficult. But you can only know your perspective. And so when I would talk to people, and instead of saying, well, this is how I feel and this is why I feel that way, they're shouting at me and, yelling and screaming and their face is turning red, I'm very confused. I don't...
Oh, of course, yeah.
I'm like, we were literally just talking about, maybe we'll say the president, or something, which now I know is...
If I'm honest, that's just...
I know that's triggering now. But...
That's something I don't ever want to discuss with anyone. It's not because I think he's a butt or anything like that. but because
it's
politics riles people up far too much.
And I didn't know this because I'd spent so many years growing up talking to other people who were very just analytical and, so it's only been the last, 5 years or whatever. Well, probably longer than that. Since I've become an adult, that it's just a vitriolic, emotional, just war zone out there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of this is being caused by people's emotional responses to entertainment or to politics or to anything at the moment.
Yeah.
Most people are being ruled by their heart rather than their brain.
Yeah, and in a way, I want to say that I envy that sometimes, like when I see someone who's very passionate, like especially like when you're talking about Smash, when we were doing the game of the decade.
Yeah.
And you were very passionate about the Smash, Ultimate Smash Brothers and stuff like that. I can envy that, but that is not toxic. That is a true fan. Not. That is passion. That is.
I would say there's a bit of a fine line between passion and toxicity, isn't there?
I definitely.
There's only one step between the two, and you can go from being passionate to being overly passionate to being toxic, or to being fanboy or fangirl. And fanboying or fangirling, because I'm not using gender pronouns here,
right.
Is one of those things that I feel is a mild form of toxicity.
I could see that.
Constantly berating one console maker for a feature that was once there that's not anymore, or we've had this on PlayStation for ages and Xbox have only just got it and things like that. And we saw the example of this when Horizon Zero Dawn was potentially leaked or rumored for PC, when all the Sony fanboys decided to start burning their copies and their PlayStations, and it's like that is just craziness.
Well, okay, it's like, again, going back to Reddit, I never understood up until about 5 or 6 years ago. I was console gaming mainly. I couldn't afford to be part of the PC master race. Then in Reddit, there was the PC master race. I thought that was tongue-in-cheek. I didn't know that it was... people really felt that way. And then you would start seeing these, submissions of... there were people that actually felt that they could run Far Cry on their PC, and that was... made them superior people to, the Xbox 360.
Doesn't make you superior in any way, shape, or form.
I couldn't...
It just makes you the same as everyone else.
Yeah, I could not grasp it. I could not grasp it. I don't know. I still, to this day, don't know where they're coming from. Why have they emotionally attached, their ego? I don't know. The console wars is something that I don't understand. I literally cannot grasp it.
I've never got it. I mean, this the Nintendo versus Sega over the years, Sony and Microsoft, even to the point now where it is literally PC against console and all that sort of thing. I've never understood it. I've never got it. I just...
it's like...
I don't understand the mentality. Like, what is the difference? They both play games. They're both of an entertainment form that you both enjoy.
Right.
Yes, they may have different games in terms of exclusives, but most of them have the exact same games on in third parties.
Yeah, except now a lot of people are getting upset about that. So
yeah, and the thing is, what is it doing for the medium? It's entailing choice, and choice is a good thing.
Choice is wonderful. I think, I mean, again, want to stay away from politics, but I love the free market and more choice being available. I'm not a big fan of monopolies. I feel like if we introduce more toxicity into the fan base, into the purchasing public,
Yep.
then we're going to lose out in the long run, because then everyone will be divided into their little groups, and then Sony will only market to Sony, and Xbox will only market to Xbox, and then no one ever grows.
Yeah, just look at the fact of what Microsoft are doing at the moment. They're trying to entail gaming for everyone.
Yeah.
By having Xbox Game Pass on PC in a beta version at the moment, Project X Cloud so that you can play it on your phones. The Xbox brand itself having Microsoft Game Studio games appearing on Switch.
Absolutely. Which was huge. That was huge to me, anyway.
I know. The day that we got Cuphead on the Switch was where a barrier had finally been kicked down. It's crazy. Microsoft, who were always known for being a little bit let's play in our own corner sort of thing,
very much
finally embracing the other people that are out, the other console developers that are out there, and sort of going, well, you might like other systems, but we want you to like Xbox games too.
Right.
So play them on whatever blooming system that you want. Who the hell cares?
Well, and one thing they will always tell you that they've said since home consoles became a thing is the publishers, the creators, the console makers, they lose money on the consoles. They don't make their money on the consoles. They make their money on the games. Yeah,
it's always software sales that drive it.
Yes.
They make more money out of the software sales, but to say that they don't earn money on consoles is not quite right, because it's the first couple of years that they don't generally, because of the price of all the parts that they have.
Yes. That's exactly what I mean. And I just think, I think a lot of things, but I just think there's more to be awarded to us as a cohesive public than to be dividing ourselves up into sections. And I do wonder, because I haven't thought about the PC Master Race in a very long time.
Ugh, the PC Master Race.
Yeah, but I do wonder, those that used to post in that subreddit, that's like 10 years ago? Frick.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. I wonder, where are they now?
Yeah.
Are they still that vitriolic? Did they grow out of it? Are they more vitriolic, as things have progressed? Are they console lovers now, Because that was the first toxic fan base I was ever introduced to. And it really... It was very, very... It was just not a good vibe.
No.
It just wasn't.
It wasn't. I remember that toxic fan base from many, many years ago, and I'll call a small story here. I used to go and play Unreal Tournament in a what do you call it? An internet cafe, but in my local town.
Oh my gosh!
This is back in the early 2000s.
Yes, kids out there actually used to be internet cafes.
Yes. Where we would pay a flat fee and we'd go and play games for a couple of hours or something, or you'd have to go and pay to use the internet. God forbid.
This is before Starbucks.
Yeah. So I would go in there to play Unreal Tournament. They had it on most computers in there, and they'd get a load of people together for some LAN games, which was amazing.
Yeah.
So me and the two people that I was with at the time, I mean, they played a bit more on PC, but I never really did. So I didn't get used to mouse and keyboard like they did.
Right.
And I was basically being told that I was just nothing but a noob and a loser because I couldn't play it. And this guy who run the internet cafe, he was on there quite a lot, and he was quite a good player, to be fair. And he used to berate people for what he would say, you suck and stuff like that, and the usual, and I pwned you, lol, I am elite.
Oh my gosh.
Sort of thing,
Oh, Rufflecopter. Oh my gosh.
Oh, the Rufflecopters. To be fair, he didn't particularly like the fact that I got the sweetest headshot on him one day. He was not happy, but anyway, so that was a fun one. But I did want to mention something that was mentioned on Twitter to me the other day. So I'm going to read this out to you because this is. I thought this was the stupidest. I don't know why it's just moved itself, but this is the stupidest hot take I've ever seen.
Sure.
Probably. And this comes from as courtesy of IGN.
Oh, really?
Let's just say.
Okay.
So the person who put it up, I'm not going to mention their Twitter handle. So they put, at IGN, on their Beyond PlayStation-centric podcast, actually sat down and tried to belittle and devalue Xbox Game Pass, hiding behind a discussion on the Netflix of gaming and how bad things it is that it promotes the acceptance of mediocrity.
I saw that, by the way.
Yeah, you saw my response, I guess.
Yeah, I did, yes.
Okay, so I'll read my response, and I think, to be honest with you, I was quite angry at the time, but I was quite reserved about it, actually, knowing me. But I usually am on social media, which is weird.
Yes, you are.
So I said, when will people realise that IGN only do these things to get clicks, and it seems to work every time? A completely deluded and unbelievably stupid take that only excels the myth of the ongoing console wars. And then I put, considering that crossplay exists now, and a gif of Peter Griffin saying, "Oh my god, who the hell cares?"
Yep. I did, in fact, see that. And of course, I 100% applaud that because you're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's what we call having discourse.
Yes.
Now, discourse is a wonderful thing where you can have a differing opinion, but put it in a perfectly reasonable way.
Yeah, without personal digs and attacks and...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could have gone on and said, "Oh my god, IGN, you bunch of absolute scumbags. Rah, what are you doing?
Yep.
Fanboy, rah." No, I made a measured point, said that I believe that IGN are discredited because they haven't been relevant for years, if I'm honest.
Yeah. And,
I just put the thing down of, "Oh my god, who the hell cares?" Because that's how I feel. Yeah. Who the hell does care about this still?
Yeah. I think that you've brought up a very good point, which is a lot of things, we're talking any fan base, not just video games, back to the cinema, books, anything.
Yep.
The media, news media.
Yep.
They've got to make money. Everyone's got to make money. They're a business. Exactly. Now, some of us go for the challenge of making money. And it's a great challenge. It's like a puzzle. I love it. It's very fun to me. It is a game.
Of course. Yeah, it is, yeah.
A lot of businesses, and I would say this happens a lot in the news media, they want the quick money.
Yeah.
And the best way to get people on your side, and I am going to use a political example, but I'm going to leave the politics out of it, is to rile up people's emotions.
Them hate clicks.
Exactly. Now, I am going to use President Trump, but I'm taking the politics out of it.
Yep. Go ahead.
He likes to make quick money. That's what he's done his whole life. And one way that he's made quick money that I'm quite, as a businesswoman, I wished I had this audacity, maybe?
Yeah. We'll go with audacity.
Yeah. So we know that plastic, it ain't good. It's just not good, and it's the plastic straws, they suck. They suck, they're straws. They're bad for the environment. They don't biodegrade. Yes. Yep. We don't have any good alternatives. I bought this really pretty iridescent metal straw that I love.
Yeah, they're reusable. They're brilliant.
Yes, and I have a little brush that cleans it out, and I take it with me.
Excellent.
But I know that not everyone can handle metal, and the paper straws are just stupid. They're just absolutely stupid and ridiculous.
I don't like them either.
And yeah, okay, maybe we shouldn't use straws. We should just drink like humans. I don't know. That's not the point. The point is that I'm trying to make is welcome to late night Kylie. Is that Trump sold plastic straws.
Yeah.
Now, does he does he really stand behind plastic straws? Probably not. He probably couldn't care less.
No, he's just made the money out of them.
But he made the money because he knew that his fan base were upset at having to give up their plastic straws. That's a genius move. I'm sorry, but it is.
Yeah, it is. I'm not going to disagree with you.
And then, so what he's done recently, and this all comes back to riling up your fan base, is his big thing has been Space Force. Again, leaving politics out of it. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a good idea, it's a bad idea. It doesn't matter. It's his thing that he likes. It's
what he wants to do. Let's leave him be and let him do it.
Yeah. So, on his website, because, again, his fan base will do... I mean, that is his fans. They will do whatever he wants them to do. He sells T-shirts that have Space Force logo on them for $30.
Yeah, of course.
Now, I'm a T-shirt
because they'll buy anything.
Yes, exactly. I am a T-shirt maker by trade. $30 is a huge markup.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
And he advertises them as made in the USA, which is a huge thing to U.S. citizens.
Yeah, that is quite a big thing because that's one of the reasons why he got elected was because he wanted to move industry back to America, and he's essentially done that, to be fair. That's not taking it. Let's just leave it at that because of politics and all that.
Yeah. So he's made. I saw it the other day. He's made a butt ton, which is an actual measurement, by the way. Butt ton of money on people's hate and anger.
Yeah.
That is exactly what keeping the console wars and keeping the rabid fan bases, that's what you're doing. You're putting money into other people's pockets.
Yeah. All for the sake of a few hateful words.
Exactly.
Just because you couldn't accept that, they did one particular thing with the game that you liked or the movie that you liked or the TV show or whatever. You're starting to sign petitions online to get whole things changed because a few people didn't like it, when actually there might be a section of that fan base who really liked it.
Yeah, well, see, and I think that Byleth is a very good example of that.
Yeah.
Most people, I would think, either don't know who that is or just don't care. It's not that big of a deal. But as soon...
I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I know who it is and I don't care.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool. But I'm not in the Smash community. I will honestly say that. But the video game websites around that knew that if they could stir up trouble, they get clicks.
Then they could make... Yeah, they get a lot of traffic out of those kinds of things.
Yeah, and by extension, I hate to say this, but it's the truth, Nintendo gets a lot of free publicity out of controversy.
There you go. It's free publicity for them.
Yeah.
Because hateful comments are still publicity because you're still talking about it.
One thing you learn in the media is any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
In fact, not to go back, but I'm pretty sure Trump has said that before as well.
I'm sure he has too.
So, the point being, we'll kind of wrap this up because we have some really good listener questions coming up. Toxic fandom is probably here to stay.
For a little bit, at least, until people get bored of it.
Yeah, it'll morph into some other, thing. But if you're out there and... Look, we've all done and said things, when we were younger that we regret. But, every day's a new day. So, if you find yourself kind of becoming that kind of toxic fan where you dox the devs or even just personally attack them or, call the SWAT team on them or whatever.
Anything like that needs to stop.
That's gotta stop. That's gotta stop. You're not helping anyone. You're not changing anything.
No, you're just making you're making the fan base look worse by doing that.
Exactly. I could use an example, but it'd be too political. Just don't do it. Just don't.
I think we've hammered on it long enough.
I think so.
I think we won't give any more examples.
Yes, I think that's better.
Yeah, we have mentioned a fair few.
Yeah, we've tried real hard to stay neutral here because we want this to be a place of happiness.
Well, not even just that. We want it to be a proper discussion rather than it devolving into you having a differing opinion or me having a differing opinion, not to put it one way or the other.
Yeah.
And one of us just turning around and saying, "You're a scumbag."
Yes.
That's not a discussion. That's just wrong.
Yeah, I like it when we disagree because I like to hear your point of view. I like it. I can't help it.
Yeah. We disagree about a fair few things. I mean, I don't think Fallout New Vegas is that great of a game, but I'm not.
And you're wrong, and I think you're wrong.
Of course, yeah, but that's what a differing opinion is, and I could say my reasons for it is because it's made by Bethesda. It doesn't, kind of, Obsidian did make it. But it didn't come out in a good state, but
it didn't.
It got improved, but.
Well, and see, that's another thing. I can fully agree. Usually when it's a logical, cogent argument that's put forward, I can agree that when New Vegas was released, it was a pile of crap. It was buggy as crap.
Yeah.
But, and that's okay. I'm not, ceding my stance. It's okay to freaking agree to disagree.
There you go. Mm-hmm. It's not like you're writing a hate letter to me in your own blood, ready to send it. That's a bit far.
I've never sent it.
Not yet, anyway. Wait until episode 30.
But yes, we'll move quickly on to the listener questions, just because they're really good.
Yeah, they are fantastic, and I'm going to take one to start with here.
Sure.
Because I love this question. So this comes courtesy of our old friend Llama Fluff 42, Mr. Woo-hoo! Thomas himself.
Yes.
Back again with another question. So, have you ever suffered from a bout of gaming fatigue? You know the feeling, piles of games with no inclination to play anything. What was the game that broke through and got you playing again? This is a great question.
That is a really, really good one.
Gaming fatigue is a horrible, horrible thing.
It is.
There's been quite a few times over the years where I've literally just sat there and gone, I've got all these games I'm looking at and I cannot play any of them.
Yep.
It might be that I'll put something on for a couple of minutes and then go, I really don't want to play this. Yeah. And then I'll put something else on and I'll go, I'm really not feeling it. So I'm clearly not feeling playing any games at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but, this actually happened quite recently to me.
Right.
And I would say I think it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is around about the time after Smash Brothers had come out. It was the first review that I had ever written.
Oh, wow.
So, in a professional manner anyway, let's just say. So, I kind of burnt myself out playing Smash Brothers Ultimate. I did everything over a weekend and then had to write it all up, and it was quite a grind, if I'm honest.
Right.
So when it came to the new year, so this was 2019, I suffered with gaming fatigue for probably a couple of months, actually, where I just could not pick anything up, whether it be the Switch or my PlayStation. I had so many games ready there and waiting to play.
Mm-hmm.
But I just didn't want to play any of them. I'd load a game up, 2 minutes, done. Just had no inclination to keep going. So the game that brought it out for me, was Tetris 99.
Oh wow! And I know how much you like that game. That is neat.
Yeah. So when that got announced on the Nintendo Direct and it was there, I was unemployed, unhappy, very miserable in my own life at that point. It got announced and released that day that I literally picked my Switch up, downloaded it, and I played it for 2.5 hours, and that's what broke the mold for me.
That's excellent. I really thought you were going to say some form of Street Fighter. I'm pleasantly surprised you said it was Tetris.
That's excellent. That's why I generally have a lot of love for that game and why it was my game of 2019 more than anything.
Yeah.
What about you?
Mine is just a tad bit earlier by a few months than yours, my gaming fatigue. Fallout 4 had been out, and I had modded it, but it hadn't. The mods hadn't gotten to the point where I wanted them to be. That would come a few months later. And I was going through a tough time, just in life in general. And I could not. Same thing. I would start into a game and then I can't do it, you know? And at that time as well, I used to be very much, or I still am very much into Let's Players on YouTube. And I just stopped watching games. I would look at my library, same thing. I just, why? The game that did it for me was November of 2018, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, okay.
The funny thing about that one, I had forced myself into reviewing a game before that.
Yeah.
I think it was the first. It might have been the first one I reviewed for Rapid Reviews UK.
Okay.
Forgot what it's called. That shows you how much I cared about it. But I was not connected to the game, like, emotionally. Yeah. It was very just, this is a job I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. So I was completely burned out. Red Dead came out, and I got it on first day of release, which I don't normally do. But something in me said, just do it, It
connected with you enough to want to go and do it.
Yeah. And I have said this before. The first 3 hours, I was like, I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to shut this off. It's not going anywhere. It's slow. It's meandering. And it's about snow. And I hate cold weather. And then after that 3 hour mark where you get a little bit more open world stuff, just all of a sudden it just all came flooding back. And it was the same exact thing. It was like just breathing again. It was like, this is what I love. And I was right back to gaming for hours a day, every day for a good 2 months, I think. And then it's just been, I haven't really had any fatigue since then. It's been great.
No, I can't say I've actually suffered with fatigue since then, but there are the odd day here and there where I just don't feel like playing something, but it's very few and far between nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm always playing something on my lunch break on my Switch if I'm not talking to someone, that is, of course, because I'm not a weirdo. But I'm
always on my stuff.
It's very easy to get yourself burnt out, and we said this about it earlier on with you got this section. You can burn yourself out on anything.
Yes.
Gaming is another one of those things that if you do it too much, like you can burn yourself out. So you just need to take a bit of a rest at times, and sometimes having a month off without playing anything could be nice because you might discover something you enjoy that you didn't think you would, like going to the movies or watching a TV show, or I don't know, if you're a weeb, you might watching a new anime. Who knows?
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I didn't say there was anything wrong with it.
But what's funny though, and then we'll move on to the next one, is anime is one of those things too for me. I love anime, and I have loved and been obsessed with it since I was about 7.
Yep.
And because you could only watch it on the Sci-Fi Channel back in the US.
Yeah.
And so it was very rare. But anyway, but there are times I will just burn out on it.
Of course.
Can't watch it. So I think it's just kind of like what you were saying. You can fatigue on anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just take a break from it, and you'll come back.
Funnily enough, I got fatigued, despite the fact of how much I love the show. I actually fatigued myself watching Frasier.
I would do that too.
Well, there's 11 seasons of that show and
Holy
22
crap.
episodes. Yeah, it's like 22 episodes per season. There's a lot of episodes to get through.
Oh my gosh.
So they used, basically on UK TV, they used to play it every morning. I think there was about 3 or 4 a day. So I'd just put them on like record and just watch them when I come home from work.
Right.
And when you've done that for like nearly a month straight, you're just like, oh, I don't know if I can do it anymore.
Yeah.
And now I own the box set, so I can just do it whenever I please.
Right. Oh, that's funny. God, I actually have one series because I don't really watch TV. I just can't sit still. Although I'm sitting still and recording this podcast for like 3 hours.
I don't know about that. You're probably shuffling on your seat.
I'm constantly moving. I'm always wondering if you can hear me. And then my chair spins, so sometimes I'll spin in my chair. So I did that with a TV series. One of my favorite TV series is this really, really, really old American show called MASH.
MASH.
And it's like 12 seasons or something.
There's a lot of episodes of that.
Long, yeah. And it's very it starts one way, and then by the last season is a completely different show. But I really like it, but it's kind of the same thing. You get about halfway through and you're like, I have to step away from this.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. But, okay. So
we're going to move on to the next question.
Yes.
So I'll let you take this one.
Yes.
Which one do you want to pick?
Oh, it's not going to be a surprise. If you could have... Oh, this one comes from our wonderful friend of the show, Jen.
Yep.
Who is at lady_sugarcube on Twitter. Definitely follow her. She is very much video game centric, and she's got good content, as they say.
Yes.
Okay. If you could have one video game character as your best friend and your brother or sister, who would you pick? Now,
good question.
That is a good question. That was a bit difficult for me.
Yeah.
Because I'll do my funny one first. Well, they're both funny. But, I mean, Master Chief would be my best friend ever. But I wouldn't want him to be my brother. That would be gross.
That would be weird.
That would be very weird. But I can hang with Master Chief. He's my best friend. And I could live in his head and be blue. And
all right, Cortana.
Call myself Cortana, and it would be wonderful. But actually, you know who I always wanted as a best friend? Is Yoshi.
Of course.
Green Yoshi. I mean, I love, all the other Yoshis, especially the flying one. What is that, red? No. Which one's flying Yoshi? I have just blanked out.
I'm literally going to let you mull over this one and see if you can get it.
Okay. Blue is the water Yoshi, right?
Nope.
Is blue the flying one?
Yep.
Yellow's the water
yellow one. No, there is no such thing as a water one, actually.
Well,
if I'm going by Mario World.
Well,
in Mario World, the blue one is found underwater.
Okay.
But it's the one that if you eat any shell can make you fly. The red one is the one that shoots out fire, regardless of what shell you eat.
Exactly.
And the yellow one causes an instant ground pound when you're holding a shell.
Oh, okay. I never really
regular.
rode the yellow one. So the blue one's the one I was thinking about.
Yeah, you have one yellow one in one special worlds, I think, where you get them. You've got to get that Lakutu to throw out enough coins for you to eat, grow large.
Yes.
I memorized that game.
I really have. I'm so glad though, because I blanked there, because you get Yoshi blue Yoshi underwater, so my brain was like blue Yoshi, blue water, underwater, he's water. Well, of course there's no water Yoshi.
Of course. And did you know that actually that Starman that comes down from there, if you let Yoshi eat it, it'll instantly grow big?
Yes, that was always my goal. Yeah, absolutely.
But you shouldn't know actually, because you can get loads of Starmen along the way by doing. Like, if you grab it, you can get another Starman and you just get him to pretty much eat everything along the way anyway.
Yeah, that's true. But for the way I had to finish that level, I'd always get the star first. And then,
it makes sense. But if I just wanted the blue Yoshi and I'd already completed the level, I would do that and then just back out.
Oh, right. Yes. Yep. Oh, God, I love that game. Anyway, so ultimately, yes, I always wanted Green Yoshi, as my best friend. He's just cool, man.
I'm gonna agree with you there. I'd have Yoshi as best friend.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
It would be very awesome.
I don't know, if I wanted to have a really cool brother. Solid Snake.
Wait. If Solid Snake is your brother, then
that
aren't you Psycho?
No, it makes me Liquid or Solidus.
Whatever, yeah.
Liquid.
Oh my gosh, yes, that would make you Liquid.
I literally just want him to wake me up and just go, Metal Gear.
Oh my gosh, that is a good answer. I love that. That's great. I should have thought of someone that had a brother or sister.
Yeah, because then that makes me the evil one.
Yes, it does, exactly.
It also depends on which one I wanted to choose, whether or not I wanted to choose Liquid or Solidus.
Right.
Because if I chose Solidus, my name would be George Sears and I'd be president for a small stint.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can take the last one, which is good. They're all good. This week is.
They are really fantastic again. So, thank you, Jen, for that question. That was brilliant. Well, at 2D Mike 3D on Twitter, thank you again. He still clearly hasn't listened because it's another evil question.
It's a very multi-level question. It's a thinker. Okay. I love it though.
This is the real thinking man's or thinking lady's question.
Yes.
So, what's your favorite video game story? Don't include the ones that are fundamentally about the narrative and environment. Talking more on the nose story. And the other way around, favorite narrative-driven game with very little story.
Now, see, here's the problem with this. I'm going to interrupt for just a second. Both you and I have stated several times, we are narrative-driven people.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to let you take this one because...
You're evil. Thanks for that. Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Okay, fine. Narrative and environment, on the nose stories. Favorite video game story that's more on the nose? Lemmings.
I guess it is kind of a story, isn't it?
Yeah. The escape. How do you escape the world?
Exactly.
Yeah, and how many people do you have to suicide before you save a whole colony?
Oh my gosh, Lemmings is deeper than I thought.
It's a bit too deep.
I know. Oh my gosh, that is actually a funny thing. Well, okay, so as far as fundamentally not about narrative, but on the nose story, for me it's very easy. It's just Sonic. The original Sonic,
I actually thought you probably would mention Sonic, to be fair. I was close to doing it myself.
Yeah, because, there's obviously no narrative, but at the same time, he's rescuing all the little animals that have been turned into bad guys. And then at the end, when he jumps on the thing and all the little animals go flying out, I love that. That is one of the most satisfying moments in video game.
Of course.
It's just chomping on that button and poof, all the way. And then you can take Sonic and push him to the very, very edge of the button, and he'll
he'll teeter over the edge.
Yeah,
and sort
he'll
of
raise his arms up like, oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I've always liked that sprite where you get too close to an edge, like like not on the spring, but when you get close to an edge and his arms just go around in a circle.
Yeah, and you just leave him there.
Yeah. Okay, I will mention another one for on the nose stories. So not a very good one because I go amiss without mentioning Mario, of course.
Oh yes, yes.
Only because I think this one is brilliant. Because in the instruction manual to the original Super Mario Brothers, it is stated that the question mark blocks are actually toads. Really? They are the residents of the Mushroom Kingdom.
Oh,
so therefore, by Mario walking along and hitting those blocks, he is killing the residents of the Mushroom Kingdom.
Look how different we came at that. I was like, he's freeing them, and you're like, he's killing them. But so
Mario is actually a mass murderer, and actually Bowser is the liberator.
Actually, I did watch a YouTube video. I'd like to see the alternate ways people think of things.
Yeah, so would I.
Yeah, and and that is what I've always read one of the interesting things I've always seen is how Bowser's actually the good guy. But I like that because I like that kind of stuff. But
yeah, and actually you have to think about it like this, right? Mario is an illegal immigrant who invades a land and takes over the place.
Exactly. And then there's always been the thing that people have long said, which is if Peach didn't enjoy being kidnapped by Bowser,
why would she keep getting kidnapped?
Yeah, because she's very powerful and very strong on her own.
She
doesn't need Mario to save her at all.
He doesn't at all.
Yeah, so I've always kind of liked that.
I think it's just Stockholm syndrome.
Some people do think that.
Okay, all right. So, favorite narrative-driven game with very little story.
That's a tough one.
That is because most narrative games have got far too much story.
Exactly.
Okay. How about this one then? For a game that we both absolutely love, yes, it is quite light in story.
Okay.
Undertale.
Oh, good choice. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you're right because it's not story driven. It's
a powerful story, but there isn't that much.
Right? No, there is
just
very
quite
little.
Simplistic. It's just enough to get you through the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. In the same vein, I guess mine would be Maniac Mansion. Believe it or not.
Nice.
Yeah, because there's a story there, but you don't know it. You don't know it till after you're done and you've hit the ending, but it's very narrative driven because the only way you can know anything's happening is when, whichever character you're playing of the 5 teens or whatever, they're talking through it.
Yep.
Or even when you get, caught by the bad people, Edna and all them. The only way you know anything's happening is because they're narrating it, because they're dictating,
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
Yeah, I'd say that. I like Maniac Mansion.
That's a good game.
Yeah, I like all of the LucasArts games from that time.
We won't go into Monkey Island because I love Monkey Island.
Of course
but it's so hard to go back and play that now.
I know, it is, very much. But I will say, this is totally going off as we usually do. There is a YouTube video. I couldn't tell you the name of it, but it does all of the Monkey Island music. A sample of it, all the way from its first incarnation to CD quality.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, I'm just fascinated by that video because it just goes through all the different tech.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I quite like that when they've done it over the years with the Final Fantasy battle music.
Yes.
And the advance from NES to SNES, PlayStation, and all that.
It's exactly in that same vein. So it's very cool. I love those videos.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's gonna do it for today.
Wraps us
this
up.
week.
Yep. our late night session.
Yeah, this is a late night session.
Yeah, rapid reviews nights.
That's a totally different podcast.
So we're glad you stopped by. We love it when people listen and when they reach out. Give us your feedback. Let us know what you'd like to hear and any topics you'd like us to talk about. We're not afraid to tackle anything.
No, we're not. Not even you toxic people.
Yeah. And, always the listener questions just have gotten, they get more amazing each week, which I did not think was possible.
I'm so impressed by the questions that we do get and how unbelievably, head scratching they are for a good few days. It's
I love it. Yes. I did kind of miss that we didn't have a food question this week.
The what, sorry?
We didn't have a food question this week.
I did miss that one, actually, but we'll give it a couple of weeks. We might get another one back.
Yeah. But if you want to check us out, definitely stop by www.rapidreviewsuk.com for this week's reviews. And then we're always on Twitter. You can either get our main podcast. Our main Twitter identity at Rapid Reviews UK. Remember, tweet to Mike that you want to see the screenshot of his mistake email. It's so good.
It's good.
Yep.
You should definitely tweet at him.
Yes, please do. And then if you want to follow just us, it's at RR Radio Pod. You can submit questions there. I promise I will start interacting more on that one. I know I've been saying that for weeks, but this whole convention thing has just got my brain just...
Yeah, I know. Don't worry about it. It's absolutely fine.
But see, here's a little behind the scenes thing that you guys don't know. When Pete and I talked about doing this, I was supposed to take on the social media aspect.
Yep.
And that has yet to happen. So
it does feel like a one-person podcast in terms of the organisation.
I was going to say, pretty much Pete has literally handled just about, I would give him a good 97% of everything.
Look, I can't help it. We'll get to Thursday and I'm like, oh God, I haven't put the tweet out yet, so I just take it and just do it.
But I want to start posting up memes and getting some feedback from you guys and asking questions and stuff. I gotta get this probably this week over with. Just get over and done with.
Of course.
But if they want to find you, where can they find you?
So they can find me on the hellhole that is Twitter. At Pete Beckett 1, and that's BECKETT. And where can they find you on that place?
On that wonderful Twitterverse at Kiley Tagreet, which is KILEYTEHGREET, where I am currently twittering about autism and the
which is a very interesting. It's a very interesting thread usually.
Yeah, I have a lot of the autistic community. They join in on the discussions, and it's just good that if you're on the other side of the coin, to have a look in how our brains work.
I have, and I've learned so much from it.
It's really neat. I enjoy it. But oh, and I almost forgot. No, there's two things I almost forgot.
Always.
You can also find us on Facebook at the Rapid Reviews UK Facebook page. And we also have a new email, which again, you can email us questions to ask on air, topics you'd like to hear from us, or just randomness.
You can send us anything on there. I don't care. Exactly.
Which is podcast@rapidreviewsuk.com.
Excellent. So that wraps up all of that side of things.
Yes. So that leaves only one thing left. So, Pete.
Yep.
Hit us with the game fact.
Okay. So this game fact comes courtesy of the company Naughty Dog.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. So, around about the time of 1995 to 1996, that might ring a few bells for a few people was around about the time that Crash Bandicoot was being made. Mm-hmm. Did you know that before they finalized the design of Crash Bandicoot himself, they used a placeholder image?
Okay.
But they actually codenamed the game the Sonic's Ass Game. Because the way the camera angle was, you would always be staring at his ass.
Oh, wow. Well, that is that will wrap us up, and that is fabulous. I will be giggling about that all week. Thank you guys for stopping by, and we can't wait to see you next week. So we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.